The modern world is louder than it has ever been, yet somehow, it feels increasingly silent where it matters most. We are surrounded by a frantic rush for status, wealth, and digital validation, yet many of us wake up in the middle of the night with a gnawing sense that something is missing. We feel like travelers who have lost the map, or worse, like sailors on a vast ocean who have forgotten how to read the stars. This feeling of being lost is what the great Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung called the general neurosis of our time. But Carl Jung didn't see this emptiness as a sickness to be cured with a pill. He saw it as a call to adventure. He believed that deep within the psyche of every human being, there is a mechanism designed to guide us toward our highest potential. He called it the inner compass, or more formally, the process of individuation. To find this compass, we must be willing to descend into the depths of our own minds, past the masks we wear and into the shadows we fear. Most of us spend our lives living in a tiny corner of our personality. We identify with our names, our jobs, and our social roles. Carl Jung called this the ego. The ego is the center of our conscious field, the eye that makes decisions and navigates the workday. But the ego is not the totality of who you are. It is merely a small boat floating on the surface of a deep, dark, and infinite ocean. That ocean is the unconscious. Most of our struggles in life come from the fact that the boat is trying to go north, while the current of the ocean is pulling south. When we feel stuck, anxious, or unfulfilled, it is usually because the ego has lost touch with the greater self. The self, in Carl Jung's view, is the true north on our inner compass. It is the blueprint of our wholeness. To align the boat with the ocean, we must first understand the layers of the soul that stand in our way. The first layer we encounter is the persona. The word persona literally means mask in Latin, referring to the masks worn by actors in ancient Greek theatre. We all have several. You have a persona for your boss, a persona for your parents, and a persona for social media. The persona is necessary. It is the social skin that allows us to interact with others without being too vulnerable. However, the danger of the modern age is that we have become obsessed with the mask. We have started to believe that we are the mask. When you spend all day performing for others, your inner compass begins to spin wildly. You lose the ability to distinguish between what you truly want and what your character is supposed to want. Carl Jung warned that a person who is nothing but their persona is a hollow shell, vulnerable to the whims of the crowd. To find your inner compass, you must first be brave enough to take off the mask, at least when you are alone with yourself. Once the mask is removed, we come face to face with the most terrifying and misunderstood part of the human psyche, the shadow. The shadow is everything about yourself that you have pushed away because it didn't fit your image of a good or productive person. It is your anger, your jealousy, your selfishness, and your hidden desires. From the time we are children, we are told to be nice, to be quiet, and to fit in. Everything that doesn't fit into that nice box gets thrown into the basement of the mind. But as Carl Jung famously said, what you resist, persists. The things we hide in the basement don't stay there, they grow stronger in the dark. They begin to leak out in the form of self-sabotage, sudden outbursts of rage, or intense projections. Have you ever met someone who you instantly disliked for no logical reason? Carl Jung would say you are looking at your own shadow. You are projecting your own repressed traits onto that person. Finding your inner compass requires shadow work. This isn't about becoming a better person in the traditional sense, it's about becoming a whole person. The shadow is not just a dump for negative traits. It also contains your golden shadow, your lost creativity, your buried passion, and your raw power. When we disown our anger, we also disown our ability to stand up for ourselves. When we disown our darker desires, we also lose the fuel that drives our ambition. To find your compass, you must stop running from your darkness and instead, walk toward it with a lantern. You must ask yourself, what is the thing about myself that I am most afraid for others to see? In that answer, you will find a massive amount of psychic energy that has been locked away. Integrating the shadow is the first true act of courage on the path to the self. As we move deeper into the unconscious, past the shadow, we encounter a force that Carl Jung called the Anima and the animus. He observed that within every man, there is a feminine soul image, the anima, and within every woman, a masculine soul image, the animus. These are not about gender roles in a political sense, but about the balance of psychological archetypes. The anima represents intuition, emotion, and connection to the mystery of life. The animus represents logic, action, and the ability to cut through the world with purpose. For many of us, our inner compass is broken because we are lopsided. A man who has repressed his anima becomes cold, rigid, and disconnected from his heart. A woman who has repressed her animus may feel powerless, unable to manifest her ideas in the world. This inner other often speaks to us through our dreams and our romantic attractions. We often fall in love with people who represent the parts of our own soul that we are missing. But Carl Jung suggests that the ultimate goal is to find that balance within ourselves. When the inner masculine and feminine are in harmony, the compass needle finally finds its center. To truly understand how to hold this compass, we must acknowledge that we do not walk this path alone. Carl Jung discovered that beneath our personal memories and our individual shadows lies a deeper layer of the mind that we all share. He called this the collective unconscious. Think of it as the psychological DNA of the human race. Just as we are born with physical organs, a heart, a liver, lungs, we are also born with psychological organs. These are the archetypes. They are the ancient patterns and symbols that appear in every culture, in every era, and in every dream. The hero, the wise old man, the trickster, the great mother, these are not just characters in movies, they are living forces within you. When you feel a sudden burst of courage to protect someone, you are tapping into the hero archetype. When you feel a playful, destructive urge to break the rules, the trickster is at the wheel. The inner compass works by navigating these archetypes. If you find yourself stuck in life, it is often because you are trapped in one archetype while ignoring another. You might be living too much as the caretaker, giving everything to others until you are depleted, while your inner warrior is starved of the chance to set boundaries. If you are finding value in this journey through the soul so far, please take a brief moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these ancient wisdoms reach more people who are searching for their own path in the dark. Carl Jung observed that many people experience a profound breakdown around the age of 35 or 40. In our modern tongue, we call this a midlife crisis. But Carl Jung saw it differently. He believed that the first half of life is dedicated to the ego. We spend our youth building a career, finding a partner, and establishing our place in the world. We focus on the persona, our outward success. But once those goals are achieved, the soul begins to ask a different question. Is this all there is? This is the moment the inner compass begins to point toward the horizon of the self. If you try to keep living by the rules of the first half of life, you will fall into depression. The second half of life requires a death of the ego, not a physical death, but a letting go of the obsession with status and image. It is a call to look inward. The compass stops pointing toward success and starts pointing toward sacredness. To follow this new direction, we must learn the language of the unconscious. The unconscious does not speak in English or math, it speaks in images and symbols. This is why Carl Jung placed such immense value on dreams. He believed that dreams are not random brain noise, but direct letters from the self to the ego. Your dreams are the compass needle vibrating. If you have a recurring dream of being chased, perhaps your shadow is trying to catch up to you, begging to be integrated. If you dream of an old, crumbling house, perhaps your current personality structure is too small for the person you are becoming. By writing down your dreams and reflecting on them without judgment, you begin to bridge the gap between the conscious and the unconscious. You start to see the map that has been hidden in plain sight. This brings us to the profound mystery of alchemy. Carl Jung spent the final decades of his life studying ancient alchemical texts, not because he wanted to turn lead into gold, but because he realized the alchemists were talking about the soul. The lead was the heavy, dull, individuated person. The gold was the self. This transformation requires heat. It requires us to stay in the fire of our own suffering without running away. When we feel the tension of two opposing desires, Our instinct is to choose one and suppress the other. But Carl Jung taught us the third way. He called it the transcendent function. If you can hold the tension of the opposites long enough, a new symbol or a new path will emerge that satisfies both. This is how the compass finds its direction when you are truly lost. It is not about logic, it is about the birth of something entirely new within your heart. But let us be honest, this path is lonely. To follow your inner compass often means walking away from the crowd. Carl Jung noted that society generally dislikes individuated people because they are difficult to manipulate. A person who knows their own shadow cannot be easily swept up in a political mob or a consumerist frenzy. They have a center that holds. This is why the process of finding your compass is an act of rebellion. It is a refusal to be a mass man or a mass woman. It is the choice to be a person of depth in a world of surfaces. Carl Jung himself had to endure a period of near madness, a time he recorded in his famous Red Book, where he confronted the visions of his own mind. He emerged not broken, but transformed. He realized that the monsters in our psyche are only monsters because we have ignored them. When we greet them with curiosity, they become guides. The concept of synchronicity is perhaps the most magical part of this navigation. A synchronicity is a meaningful coincidence where an internal state and an external event align. Perhaps you are thinking about a specific problem in your life, and you happen to see a book in a window or hear a stranger say a phrase that provides the exact answer you needed. To the rational mind, this is just a fluke. But to Carl Jung, it was evidence that the mind and the world are not as separate as we think. Synchronicity is the way the universe confirms that you are following your inner compass. It is a sign that you are on the right path. The more you listen to your inner voice, the more these glitches in the matrix seem to occur, guiding you toward the person you were meant to become. So, how do you begin today? You begin by listening to your slips. Pay attention to the moments when you say something you didn't mean to say, or when you feel an intense emotion that seems out of proportion to the situation. These are the cracks in the persona. Instead of smoothing them over, look through them. Ask yourself, who is the part of me that is really speaking right now? Start a dialogue with your inner self. Carl Jung used a technique called active imagination, where he would sit quietly and allow his inner figures to speak to him. He would paint his visions, carve them into stone, and treat them as real entities. You don't have to be an artist to do this. You only need to be an explorer. The inner compass is not a physical object you find, it is a relationship you build. It is the trust between the ego and the self. The destination of this journey is individuation. It is the process of becoming the unique individual that you were always meant to be. It is not about being perfect. Carl Jung actually preferred the word complete. A complete person is someone who has integrated their persona, faced their shadow, balanced their inner masculine and feminine, and established a direct connection with the self. This person is no longer a slave to social trends or the opinions of others. They have found their inner compass, and it allows them to walk through the storms of life with a strange kind of peace. They know that even when the world outside is in chaos, their inner world is grounded in truth. We live in an age of distractions. Every app on your phone is designed to pull your attention away from your inner world and toward the mask of the persona. But the path Carl Jung laid out remains open to anyone willing to take it. It begins with a simple question: who am I when no one is watching? It continues with the bravery to look at your mistakes not as failures, but as messages from the shadow. It culminates in the realization that you are not just a cog in a machine, but a bridge between the physical world and the infinite depths of the soul. Finding your inner compass is the most difficult work you will ever do, but it is also the only work that can truly save you from a life of quiet desperation. As Carl Jung once said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. It is time to stop dreaming of a life that isn't yours and start waking up to the one that is. The compass is already in your hand. You only need to be quiet enough to hear it click into place. The road ahead is not meant to be easy, for the soul does not grow in comfort. It grows in the challenge of the unknown. When you find yourself at a crossroads, Do not ask which path is easier or which path will make you look better to the world. Ask which path has the most life in it. Ask which path makes your heart beat with a sense of destiny. That is the voice of the self. That is the needle pointing home. You are a vast, unexplored territory, and the greatest discovery of your life is waiting within you. Trust the symbols, trust the dreams, and most importantly, trust the quiet tugging of your own spirit. Thank you for being here with me. Take care of your heart and may love always guide your path.